rules are you can be fast, you can be good, or you can be cheap. But Benjamin's going to explain to us why you can't be all three. Stay tuned for this one, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to the Your Little Castle Show. Yours truly, Carter Rethwish, a.k.a. Cardinal Cowboy. I enjoy what I do here, working with business experts who've been around for, in this case, 30-plus years. Welcome to the studio, Benjamin Fast. You have started a company now since 2011. That's what it was, 2011. And you've been in the industry now for 30-plus years?
Yes, sir. Right?
So if you're going to do construction, we're going to talk to you about some of the guidelines. But his last name is Fast. And so, and we talk about that. People have mentioned that to me before on the show. You can do a project with high quality. You can do it inexpensively sometimes, but you can't do it, and you can do it quickly, but you can't do all three of those in one. You get to pick 2 out of 3.
Indeed. And
we're going to come back here and talk about that in just a second. After we give a quick shout out to our sponsor. One of our sponsors, Carroll House Furniture, because you like nice things. Where do you like nice things? In your little castle. We all live in a house or an apartment. That's our own little castle. And Benjamin here is going to help us understand what it takes to make your little castle awesome from a construction standpoint. So with that, we're going to put up on the wall. He's got a new website under development. You see the link there. I'll put that on the screen for everybody. And befastconstruction.com. And a lot of work we're going to show off, a lot of the fun stuff he does to make the planet a better place. So with that, tell me, Benjamin, what brought you into the construction space? Why did you decide to get into construction?
Just interested in building things.
Okay, so when you decided you wanted to build things, was that a particular hobby of yours as a kid?
Yeah.
What led you there?
Just building clubhouses and taking stuff apart and putting it back together, trying to as a youngin'.
So you were literally like hands-on, building club. I did some clubhouses too. That's fun stuff, man.
Yeah.
Were you up in a tree house many times? Or
yeah.
Where'd you start with these at?
The ground.
Okay, and when you so you're on the ground, that's a good place to start. It's safer than the treehouse thing, isn't it? But so you've got a house, a little clubhouse you're building for. Who was using the clubhouse? You and your buddies?
Yeah, me and my siblings.
Okay, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
I got 2 brothers and a sister.
2 brothers and a sister. Mm-hmm. Now, were you the leader of the pack, or how did you get nominated?
Probably the smartest.
Do you tell them that too?
Oh, of course.
So you were the one with the smarts to put together this start construction, and that led you to, when did you start? You say 30 years, so now I'm going back. Today's 2025, so you're talking 1995.
Late teens was when I started construction daily.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what was your main focus on as far as that went? Were you doing the actual construction? You say you do a little bit of
pretty
plumbing?
much carpentry.
Okay.
Start out with carpentry, garages,
okay.
concrete.
So you do a little bit of everything then. If
Mm-hmm.
you're doing the concrete, then you do a foundation?
Dirt to doorbell. Mm-hmm.
Dirt to doorbell.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't heard that one before. Dirt to doorbell. But all the way, so you'll put in a foundation, you'll put in a basement. Do you finish basements? Do you do kitchens, baths?
Yeah,
What's your primary?
Good concrete work. Check our website out.
Okay. And as it comes down to concrete work, then what do you enjoy doing remodeling?
We do rehabs, we do bathrooms, kitchens.
Tell me about the kitchens you do a little bit.
Well, they're expensive, you know. It depends on the products. I usually sub out the cabinetry because you like to have that custom done, not go to Lowe's or Hood's for your cabinetry. You know, it's expensive. That's the biggest ticket item in just about any project is your cabinetry. Yeah,
cabinets are not, they're custom fit and usually very specific to the
mm-hmm.
location, and they are wood.
And the tile.
And the tile, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And craftsmanship that goes in there.
Pick your products.
Okay. Then when it comes down to it, finishing that kitchen off, I mean, you're going to do the appliances, you're going to do the flooring.
Mm-hmm.
What do you prefer as far as countertops?
I usually let the cabinet guys discuss that with them. I'm not really the countertop guy.
But do people do marble? Do they do granite? Do they do?
I've had natural stone. It's a little more expensive, but
sure.
It's definitely an option.
Why do people prefer marble or granite?
It's non-porous. You know, it don't rot with the water. It's susceptible to water being out there.
Yeah, those are all things that make it, it'll be impermeable, is that what they say? And
Mm-hmm.
then last quite a bit longer at the same time. So when you're doing it, what's the average kitchen go for these days? What's the low end on a kitchen? Where do they go?
Probably 30 to 100.
Okay.
Somewhere
And
around there.
And so Benjamin's not joking around here. He said there's clients spend $100,000 with you
Mm-hmm.
to have. Now is that more of a broad? Is that a whole house? What are they doing for that 100,000?
Well, generally that includes the driveway, maybe a roof, a big deck, go well over 100.
So by the time you put all those pieces in, yeah, you're going to spend. Because I'm thinking about if I do a basement, do you do basements? You do finish basements as well?
Of course. Mm-hmm.
If I do a basement, that could be easy 30, 40 grand.
Or more.
And then, okay,
Depending on what you want to see.
How many rooms typically do you finish on a basement?
Depending on the size of the basement, 3 to 5. Do they want a bathroom? What kind of water do you want down there? Type of flooring? Is it waterproof? Is the basement waterproofed? We got to put any type of waterproof system in. That's a big ticket item.
And then they end up putting your electrical, plumbing. Do they do heated floors? And what are
Sometimes, yeah.
What are more of the options you get with all that?
The tile, the heated floors, bathrooms. What type of fixtures do you want? What do you want to see, really? There's a low end and a high end to everything.
What type of flooring do you prefer overall when it comes down to it? I mean, I guess you can put wood in the basement. Do many people put linoleum, or do they put plaster?
Generally go with tile in the basement because a lot of times it's concrete, and the floors aren't level, so you're going to have to put some sort of leveler down, make sure everything's going to fit right.
That's an important part. I didn't realize that, but yeah. So and you can adjust because you've got the tiles, and you can put those and lay them per tile. I guess they be easier to adjust. And what do you use to level them underneath?
Floor leveler.
Okay.
Liquid, you pour it out, or you could just skim it, with mortar. There's a lot of different processes.
I mean, you've done all of these things. It sounds like in 30 plus years, you've seen all of that. All right, let's move up to the first floor now. We talked about the kitchen a little bit, but let's go do you do family rooms? People will update. A lot of people these days, back when my parents had their house built, we had a kitchen that was isolated it had separate walls, door entries. Then they decided to open it up. How often nowadays are people tearing down walls in houses that are 30, 40 years old?
A lot of the times they want it open, and then you got to determine what's load bearing, what you could head or out, really get an engineer in on it so everything could get signed off on. And
you'll bring in the engineers?
Yes.
Okay. And you've got the relationships, I guess, in 30 years of doing this,
Yeah, got a lot of subs, a lot of contacts. It's a group thing, bringing these projects together for sure. It's a culmination of efforts.
And so do you consider yourself a general contractor?
Yes, absolutely.
And so you've got the expertise and the years of experience. And then tell me a little bit about, okay, now we've got so I'm saying a family room and a kitchen. What are the rooms on the first floor do people often? So, I mean, I guess you got a lot of bedrooms on the first floor. Do people remodel bedrooms? Tell me what people do with bedrooms.
Oh, ain't a whole lot you could do outside of drywall. What do you want to see on the wall? You can put wood on the wall. You can put wood on the ceilings. What type of flooring do you want? What type of trim do you want? What type of fixtures do you want? Windows and doors, there's a lot of decisions to be made, colors and paints.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, tell me, you've been doing this for 30 years. What is it that really fuels your passion about this? What is it that helps you wake up every day that you enjoy doing?
Oh, it just makes me feel good to provide for my family in a way that I can work with my hands and, earn a living.
That's the way good. When you're doing some construction, everybody, you're obviously earning a living. Put a lot of work in to do that. We've got a lot more to share with people. Excuse me. It's that time of year, everybody, the weather changes on. Tell me with that, does weather change the way you do things? I guess sometimes
Indeed.
Construction, you've got, depending if it's an indoor job, outdoor job.
Yeah, I try to schedule it accordingly, get the indoor projects for the winter and when the cold and wet days, And
then on the outside, you can do roofs. A lot of time you talked about doing driveways.
Not in the cold, it's got to be a certain temperature for your if you're doing shingles for it to seal. So you can't roof in the winter a lot of times.
Oh, okay, yeah, because we just got hit with our first cold streak here in St. Louis, and what did we get down to last night? 19 degrees or
25, somewhere around there. It was cold with the
wind
wind chill.
Freezing. So I just cut the grass, so now the grass will be at the height that I need it for the winter, and it won't start growing again. Is this that first freeze that comes? But that affects roofing, too, you're talking about.
Yeah, you'll blow through the shingles. Don't let people talk you into putting your shingles on when it's cold.
Cold installation of shingles is not a good thing, everybody. I didn't realize that, but yeah, because they kind of have some. Is it the tar that sticks from one to the next, and then that'll help them to seal, obviously.
Yeah, and the shingles get cold, and the nails will blow through them, so you'll have improper contact, and the shingles will start sliding. You know, when it's cold, they don't seal right. They do roof in Canada year-round, so there are exceptions, but you'll see them put bubbles around the house and heat everything up, where everything will seal and seat right when you're nailing it.
Interesting stuff here, everybody. If you didn't know that, I mean, I've had a few roofing guys on here. We just didn't get into that particular part of the discussion. I think one of the guys mentioned it, but you're saying that they'll actually heat the area around a house to make sure that, because that seal, it's got to seal, and your nails will go through. I hadn't heard that before.
Yeah, blow
because
through
that
the
is one more
shingles.
firm. It'll just pull right through.
People talk into letting them put your roofs on in the winter, but don't do it. You know, wait till the spring when it's warm.
Wait till spring for roofing. I know that a lot of the roofing guys slow down for that. So then you talk back to the inside of the house. Now we talked about bedrooms, we talked about kitchens. Talk about the bathroom a little bit real quickly, if you will.
A lot of options there as well, you know, with the fixtures, your tubs, your surround, your doors, your vanity, everything's got a low and a high end.
Yeah, so then it's a matter of, do you want to do upscale? Where does the bathroom start off at the bare minimum?
A small bathroom starts at 15.
About 15,000.
And that's with just with no tile. You know, you want to throw tile into the equation, it gets expensive fast if you pick certain stones or tiles or layouts.
I like how you're directed to the point. It gets expensive, but you want to do these things right. You're going to add value to your house. It's going to more than compensate
Hopefully.
for what the cost is, right? And so that's why you would want to spend the money to do these things correctly.
People generally don't address it till they're fixing to sell. You know, they just deal with it the whole time they live there, and then when they go to move, they put that money in it, hoping that it'll up the value of it. But sometimes the money you put in, you know, you're going to get the same price out of the house before you put all that money into it.
Yeah, so get some kind of consultation from an expert who's done this before you make those kinds of big adjustments to your house. Is that fair to say?
Make sure that your investment's worth it, because it could get costly.
And we're not looking for ways to spend more money these days, right? Do it right the first time, etc. But don't waste money, I guess is what you're telling people. Okay. Well, what nice job you've done with the BBB. A lot of people do get their business listed on the BBB, and I'll highlight here for the fact that when you end up with your business on the BBB, you want to make sure you get the correct rankings, right? And so I'll put it on the wall here for everybody to see. But there it is, Be Fast Complete Construction, and you're an LLC. And if you look here on the site, scroll down here, there's that A+. What has it done for you to have that A+ rating?
Not a lot, you know. People do reference the BBB, you know, to make sure you're competent and you've been around, but I ain't really sold a lot off of BBB.
Well, I would bet there's probably people who looked at it but didn't tell you. And then saw that you
a couple hundred people a year look at it, you know, so I'm sure that people use it as a reference.
That's good. And having that A+.
Not having anybody slandering you on there is important, I'm sure.
Right, yeah, because that's why I said people can make their reports. And I've dealt with one time a buddy of mine had a question, and he went to the BBB, and they came back to me, and I explained it to him. But yeah, that's why you want to make sure, keep a good reputation, because a lot of people do have some reference to the BBB. But if you have a couple hundred people a year going there, then definitely there's some merit to what it is that people talk about there. Okay, everybody, we're going to jump into a little bit of our fun in our community. This last weekend, we actually did an event with Josh Grayson. He's a #1 selling musician, and he's got a couple gold records. He was also #4 on American Idol. He finished, and there we go. Give me my slider camera, so I'm talking more to the camera. And he does a lot of charity work. So we showed up at the Ameristar here in a private event. About 150 people or so, 150 people showed up, and it was just so cool what he did there. So take a look here at some of the fun we got to partake this weekend. I was your MC for the event, everybody. Check it out.
It's good to work with the great organizations like we have here. So give it up for Little Patriots Embrace, everybody. Woo! And while you're at it, give a shout out to yourselves for showing up tonight to support such an awesome organization. You guys are great. What a nice turnout tonight. To Sydney.
Walking through my life.
Here goes to an awesome event. Nate and Sydney. And here goes to an awesome event. A little acoustic set for you guys. Yeah, with the whole get up. Giddy up.
is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. Hey everybody, Cardinal Cowboy here. I want to invite all of you to be part of my new team. No, you don't have to put on a baseball uniform and be a super fan. Now, it would be a good idea to cheer for the Cardinals, the greatest team in the history of the National League. But I'm talking about the Gold Cowboy team. You know, I love to help people follow their dreams and reach their goals in business and in life. So that's one of the reasons why I'm telling you about my friends at My Metal Pro. They help people like you and I acquire gold and silver with a membership that lets you safely buy, sell, and store gold and silver. They make it real easy to get started. My Metal Pro isn't like the big guys you see on network TV or the big coin shops that take a huge commission. So become part of my Gold Cowboy team. Scan the QR code or go to goldcowboy.com and check it out. Giddy up! Well, there you go. A little bit about gold and silver. You collect some coins too, is that true?
Yes.
And it's a nice little hobby. It can be lucrative, especially if you find some unique coins. You recently grabbed your bag of coins and sorting through those right now.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Well, tell me a little bit about this. I mean, imagine a lot of people, they want to know what's this thing going to cost. And so they give me a little cost breakdown. You told me some of the numbers, but why would somebody do a remodel, and what is there any reason somebody should not remodel?
Whew. I don't think there's any reason you shouldn't remodel unless you can't afford it, you know.
Right.
It's really about cost. Can you afford it?
Yeah, so if somebody can't afford this is going to add some value, right? You're going to have a house that's going to
Hopefully.
go, right? It's hard to have a house, at least what you put into it, right?
Yeah.
And it gives it that appeal now because people are going to say, oh, it's a 30-year-old house or a 50-year-old house, but inside it looks like a 10-year-old house or a 3-year-old house or a
It gets outdated fast, you know.
Right. And so you, depending on when they did the remodeling, but if they did it right away, then it's like a new house and all the latest stuff. But now you got the USB chargers and the special adaptations for everything, and then the new wireless stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All those things. Do you help
Lighting,
people to implement?
LED everything.
LED everything. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But do you help people to implement those too when they're doing these installations? They'll get the latest?
I like to give options. You know, options are important. People love options. So I try to stay knowledgeable and do my research going into projects, see what type of products you want, what you want to see.
Yeah, well, and it's changing all the time too. I know a lot of stuff has gone to this wireless stuff. Do you help people if they want to do a wireless? You'll help them to adapt that, put it in.
Yeah, give you options on fixtures and products. You know, I try to go to events at local distributors and see what I could learn as far as new products. Try to stay on top of it.
Yeah, that's part of that whole. Why does somebody hire you? Because in the cost analysis, because they try to do this themselves, they do it wrong. They just wired something and it zaps the device. I've seen that happen.
Oh, I see a lot of times we do kitchen remodels and backsplashes and things, and everything's wired incorrect. You got to be careful what you say, because a lot of times the homeowners are responsible for it. They try to do it themselves, trying to save money.
Really? Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because if they're doing it themselves, then they do it wrong. The insurance company comes through and says, could they potentially not cover it? But if they had it certified, done by somebody who's licensed and permits, depending on whether it was a repair or if it was a new installation, all of that can be done and then backed up, and they say, oh, just.
It takes a lot of learning. It takes a lot of mistakes. You don't want to make them yourself.
Right.
We start out making them, so we grow. I grow as a contractor, that's for sure. Every project brings on new adventures.
Well, then tell me, why should somebody choose you? What do you bring to the table that helps people? 30 years of experience.
Well, I do it myself. A lot of times you hire somebody, a big guy, and you think that they're going to come out and do it, but they don't. They send employees that, they prop up and put them in that position. They're not necessarily knowledgeable, but they dress them the part and want them to play the part. But a lot of times you're getting somebody that's just learning on your stuff. We've done the learning, so we're pretty good at what we do.
Yeah, you don't want somebody learning on your stuff. Now, that's another thought. My next point here, leading right to it. Benefits of working with a small business. When they're working with a small business, usually you're talking directly to the owner or somebody that the owner has directly trained. And so you're hands-on. If you look at the title.
Every day.
Yeah, right. We put our title up here. Take a look here. I said, are you an operator too? Because if you're in the field as an operator, and owner operator, meaning you actually are in the field doing the work, why does that benefit somebody?
Well, quality control, the knowledge. I hire people all the time that say that they know how to do things, and then you prop them up, and in fact they don't. You got to go through a lot of people to find knowledge.
Yeah, well, and how often is it the case that people, like you said, they act as though they know what they're doing, but when it gets down to it, they're going, hey, somebody help me.
You got to watch them. You got to always have a quality control, or somebody even come in, a third party. A fresh eye never hurts, when you're dealing with your home. Have somebody look at it and scrutinize it. Yeah,
well, when it comes down to it, there's so many people, like, you're not just, this isn't something like I'm going to get my car washed, and if the car doesn't actually get cleaned as it should have been, okay, we got to wait, and then we'll come back and do it ourselves.
Yeah, you don't want somebody hacking up all your quality products.
Yeah, if you buy a bunch of new stuff and
nice
they're not installing it correctly, they're beating it up. I've been there. We get the screwdriver out, and I'll just chip that out. And if they're not doing installation correctly, and they are impugning the integrity of the
I see a
product.
lot of contractors try to use the smoke and mirrors, try to cover it up and hide stuff.
There's times when they have something that just didn't fit right, and they just, instead of fixing it and making it right.
Put some lipstick on it, try to divert your eye. Look over here,
Okay, and that's why you deal with somebody who's had the reputation we have here, somebody's been doing this for a long time, because your reputation's on the line yourself. You enjoy
it. It is. You're only as good as your last job. You get somebody slandering you online, and that's the end to a small business.
Yeah, small business is the core to what America brings to the table, and that's why I appreciate working with small business owners. And that's what we talked about a little bit just a second ago. But if you're working with a small business owner, very often, and I've had issues where people came to me and said, hey, can you do this? Big companies, 6 layers of, go to second level support, and then go to third level and get a manager, then get a vice president, and then finally they might answer your question. Or they say, who cares? Let them go. It's just one small client out of thousands that they may service. Not what you're dealing with here. You're only dealing with, 2, 3, 4 clients at a time?
Yeah, I generally try to keep projects down to what I could finish right now. Starting out, I swore I wouldn't be starting a bunch of projects where I had to tell people I'd be there today and trying to juggle days. I try to keep it limited and finish stuff before I start other stuff. Schedule it accordingly.
Yeah, well, management, quality, all of those things are obviously important. And so how big is your crew, and how many jobs do you do at any given time?
It depends on what we're doing, I'll bring subs in, finishers, and tilers, whatever I need.
Yeah, you've got all the trades in, but you've got flooring.
I bring quality people, quality products, quality people.
Yeah, and that's the key to it. But most of these guys are guys you've worked with for years now.
Yes.
And you've got a core group, and since you've been doing it 30 years, how many years of experience do some of the guys that work with you have?
A lot. Generally, the people I bring in are self-employed. They run their own businesses, or they're union people that work on the weekend for me on projects.
Yeah, so you're getting that expert training, years of experience, and that boils down to some of the quality stuff. We're going to show off a bunch of Benjamin's work here too. He's got a lot of pictures on it, mostly on his social media. Some of these will end up on his website too. But years and years of doing this. How has the technology changed a little bit? I got a question for that next. We're gonna have Benjamin stay around for a second half hour here too, everybody. But the way the method for doing this, but the integrity, the quality, that has always stayed the same. It's been something that's very important for you.
The products change. You know, the integrity of the products change.
Really?
You got to stay on top of it.
Tell me about that.
Well, just so you could offer the new changing products. You know, a lot of people don't know about the changing products. You got to bring it to their attention and give them options. People love options.
Okay, so the technology is changing, so then there's things that get improved, but you got to explain to them, say, hey, this improvement takes away this, or it's not as high quality, or they're not using plastic parts, those kinds of things that you need to...
Losing the quality, you know, you got to explain it could be a little bit of an upcharge, but in the long run, it's going to pay off.
Well, those are things that how would you know that if you're just the average consumer walking in to buy something off the shelf in one of these big box stores? No problem, but you don't realize.
Yeah, as the homeowner, it's hard. You know, you just don't know how to scrutinize things. Even if you do see it, and you just don't know the options in the correct way. You know, even if you're looking over somebody's shoulder all day, you really don't know how to critique it in a way that it's going to be beneficial to you.
Very important there, keeping that quality high, as they say. If we finish up here, we've got a couple minutes left. What's one of the biggest mistakes you would say that as a matter of getting construction done, there's a lot of work that goes into this, a lot of things at stake. What's one of the biggest mistakes the average consumer makes when they're making a decision to do a construction project?
Choosing inferior products and expecting a quality product in the end.
Okay, so if they're using products that are not as high quality.
Wanting to go cheaper on the products.
Yeah, and just back to that, does it have plastic screws? Does it have rivets? Does it have real screws, metal?
The integrity, the thickness. A lot of times that you're buying a product that's cheaper, but you're looking for a quality product in the end, and it's just not the same as spending the extra money on the higher grade materials.
Yeah, I can only imagine. You're right, because when you've got something that has that thinner, you can tell it when you buy those self-assembly pieces of furniture. I'll start with that. Oh man. Yeah, but you don't want that for your fixtures and for your permanent appliances and for your
any of the products, really.
Okay. And there's you've literally seen where the thickness is actually not there quality wise.
Yeah, with just about everything from A to Z, you know, you gotta go with the better products. It pays to go with the better products and have somebody that could bring it to your attention, the options, the better products.
Get the better products, get the better quality, and this is stuff you want to last for another 30, 40, 50 years.
Absolutely.
Right? Not for 6 or 8 months or 2 years or 5 years.
Check the warranties, look online, look at the reviews on the products before we install them.
Make sure to do your research there, everybody.
I do mine, so you know, do yours, the due diligence.
Benjamin will help you with all that. He's an expert, everybody. Stick around for the second interview coming up. It's probably air on the following night, or you can see everything on our YouTube. Giddy up.